Welcome everyone to SCORE University. I'm pleased that you are joining us this morning for a course called LinkedIn for Realtors. This is a very specific class coming to you from one of our own colleagues. I'm very, very big on peer-to-peer learning. I think it's really important. And this morning you have a special treat because this individual is not only a successful realtor in our region, he's presently in the top 1% of Keller Williams offices for the region. He also has his experience that he brings from high tech. He's worked at Sun Microsystems, Cisco, Google, and LinkedIn. So he's going to bring you an insider's perspective from the platform side, and he's going to show you and hopefully offer you some great valuable insight on how he's been able to leverage that and how he made his transition from technology into real estate, where he now enjoys a very fruitful career. Alan Wang is a true professional and has an outstanding education behind him. He's a graduate of Santa Clara University and also received his master's from Berkeley. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Alan Wang.
Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Hilda. Everyone, thank you for coming today. I cannot even speak even as well as Hilda did about how important it is for us to continue to innovate. And I'm really, really pleased at what Hilda's doing here at the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors to try to give you more tools to take your brand and your career to the next level. It's so important. Unfortunately and fortunately, we live in the Silicon Valley, right? Let's talk about the fortunate part. A lot of great folks with great jobs, with great equity that want to buy houses, that like real estate and want real estate, need a place to live or need a place to sell. Wonderful for us. The negative, these are some of the smartest people in the nation, in the world probably, building some of the most important tools that you use every single day. And so what happens there? They're expecting that same level from us, right? And that is extremely high. I mean, we're talking these are the top 5% of the nation or the world, right? Some of the smartest people around. And so before I go into my deck, let me talk a little bit about that, actually. I don't have a slide for it, but I've worked in tech for 14 years, just left in April, and I've been a realtor for 11. And the reason I got into real estate, I got referred the same way that a lot of us get business today by my folks to our family realtor, right, who is the person who was supposed to help me out. And she's a super nice lady, great person, knew her, trusted her, grew up with her, right, solid. The unfortunate part was just at the speed I was moving was very different, and that was right when technology was changing. This was about 2001, and the companies around that time, there were the Help You Sells, there was the Zip Realty was big at the time, right? There was no Zillow, Redfin, they weren't that big yet. Even then it was pretty scary, right? So I logged into Zip and I found the houses before my realtor did. And I actually started real estate long ago. I was much younger back then. I was a telemarketer for Contempo in Saratoga, believe it or not. And let me tell you, that's one of the most ineffective methods to reach customers, let me tell you. After a year of calling, I maybe got one appointment, and that didn't even convert that, right? So very, very tough. So that being said, just there's a huge gap. I mean, just the way, I was at Cisco, I was an engineer, and just used to working a certain way. I expected quick responses. I expected my emails responded to quickly. I expected just speed. I wanted speed. I wanted to know what's going on. I wanted to see the house right away. I just wanted my realtor to be on that same page. And it was just, there's a big gap. And a lot of the things are because we don't have the right tools sometimes, right? And a lot of it's just, we don't understand what these folks are wanting. And it's getting worse, right, since then. We have too much technology now, right? Everyone's got a tablet, everyone's got a phone. My loan agent has 2 phones. I don't even know what he does with 2 phones, but he's got them like on his belt like this, and he walks around. I'm going, you have one Android and one iPhone. What do you do? I mean, no wonder you don't respond to my text. You got too many phones. But I mean, it's just we're getting inundated with that. And again, it's not about the technology. I think I want to take a step back, and LinkedIn is definitely a topic today. But let me just jump right in. And it's really about the relationships we're building with our customers and meeting their expectations. As simple as that. Technology is there to help us, but don't lose sight of that. Okay, about the relationship. Hilda already did a great job introducing me, so I'm not going to do that. But I did spend 6 years at LinkedIn. The company was 350 people, and when I left, there was 6,000 people. So I know quite a bit about the tool. And now that I've committed full time to my real estate career, I've watched my colleagues and everyone else use LinkedIn, and I think there's a better way we could use it. So those of you here today, I think you're going to get a lot, okay, out of this. But quickly, one of my favorite movies, Top Gun. I'm going to be sort of diving 40,000 foot and then going right down to buzz the tower, okay, today. So you're going to get both. I've given this class at a very high level and then found that folks wanted more practical. And so I'm going to go both ways. I'll be up here and suddenly I'll be down here. So just be aware of that, okay? I'm going to buzz the tower once in a while. How many folks are on LinkedIn in this room? Everyone's on LinkedIn except maybe a couple, okay. And how many people just don't know how to use it? Like, I'm on it, but I don't know what to do. Okay. Well, I mean, you're not sure if you're leveraging enough. Well, how many people use it more, once a week? Okay, so you're on it, you're not using it. Okay, so we have a gap there, and I'm going to help you bridge that gap. First things first, I want to talk about my business and why LinkedIn's important to me and probably important to you. What percentage of folks do the cold calling thing that I used to do? Okay, good. How many people do door knocking? Oh, door knocking, okay. Farming? And then referrals? Okay. I don't know about you, but my favorite is referrals. The customers that come are usually well vetted because you have good customers or a good family, good friends, and they usually have good friends and family, good folks that are good customers to work with. When you sit at the consultation, a lot easier to convert them because they already got a trusted word from someone that trusts you. Right? And so, interestingly enough, when I bought my home in 2001, I was terrified because I also got my license around that time, and I was terrified of all the technology coming out. It was, wow, we've got all these sites throwing, X amount of money back at the buyers. Oh my gosh, are we going to be in business in 10 years, right? And lo and behold, 10 plus years later, we are still here. And it's fascinating. Why? Because if you go online, everyone has a 5-star rating. So really, what does it mean, right? I mean, there's so much tech, and the people are all aware of it, and you would think that they would just lean that way. But actually, they're leaning more towards the personal relationships than tech, which is really, I did not expect that, right? I thought tech would just give them everything they needed. Granted, if you're finding a restaurant, that's different. It's a one-time thing. If it fails, that's okay. 4-star, fine, I'll go eat. But a realtor, and we're talking, you're buying the biggest purchase of your life. This person cannot be the wrong person, right? It has to be the right person for me, right? So I don't know about you, but tons of my business comes from referrals still, and actually even more than it used to, which is wonderful. Now, what's the number one problem with referral business is that you have to stay top of mind though, right? Anyone been in a situation where one of your old clients a few years later bought a house and didn't call you? Yeah, we've all had that, at least one of them. Like, oh, wait, why didn't you call me? Oh, gosh, I forgot you're in the business, right? I mean, and whose fault is that, right? We didn't keep in touch with them, right? And that's why there's all these 33 touch campaigns, et cetera, sort of the farming campaigns that we try to do. But I want to take us to another level. It's great. If you're not sending anything to your customers, definitely do something. Anything is good, okay? But I want to challenge you with LinkedIn to take your business to another level. Okay, so you're sending stuff. That's great. You're staying top of mind. That's great. But this group of folks in the Silicon Valley, they don't just want stuff. They've seen the stuff. They've seen the postcards. They get the emails, too much spam. They know the pumpkin pie recipes, which they can look up online. They don't need any of that. I mean, it's stuff, but it's top of mind, but it's not value-added stuff. And so this is a big problem. Now we're a level 1 thinking. Like my professor used to say in the school, he used to hate it, and then now we got to take it to the next level. Okay, but now for those of you that love referral business, this is the class for you. Okay, for those of you that prefer fly by night, I'm just going to do volume and not the right class. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back in time. So 11 years ago, I've been going back in time, but this is a different me. The back in time is I was a young engineer. And I was doing a lot of work, and I wanted to figure out, I had a resume in a doc format. Anyone have a resume still? Barely, right? And I was updating my resume with every accomplishment and then dumping it into my hard drive. And it would just sit there collecting dust until I wanted to find a job, okay? I was probably the more diligent. Most people will just leave it in there, version 1.0, whatever. And then 6 years later, when they're looking for a job, they go and, oh, what did I do? And trying to update it, okay? Right? Gosh, what did I do? I don't remember what I did last 6 years. And so I found this site called LinkedIn. And I said, hey, this is great. I put my resume up, they didn't call it the cloud at the time, on the web, right? And I just keep it up to date, and I don't have to keep this other source. So I always have a single source of truth. So that was one use case. In the second use case, how many people had a Palm Pilot? Palm Pilots? Daytimers? We use daytimers? Okay. Well, it was Daytimers, and then came the Palm Pilot. And that was like kind of the early touchscreen device, right? I had a bunch of those, but I would always change, right? Everything would change. There was no iCloud back then, right? So I'd have to export all my contacts, import it to the next one, export it, import next one. By the time I was done, I had 10 of each person duplicated. It was a mess. And on top of that, my contacts would change phone numbers, change emails, and it would just be out of date anyways. The second thing that LinkedIn really solved was organizing my contacts for me, so I didn't have to track all that. Right. And as they grew, everyone started logging in, and all of their information was in LinkedIn, and it was up to date. And if I messaged them through LinkedIn, I would never have to worry. LinkedIn provided it because they would always log in with their email address and all that, and I always knew I could reach them. Right. So 11 years ago, I was member 32,000. This is way before I worked at LinkedIn. Already saw the value of this product. Okay. But that was 11 years ago, and this product has advanced a lot from that point. So why does it matter? You see here I like this little picture of the puzzle pieces. Yeah, there's Twitter, there's Pinterest, there's blogging, there's Facebook, there's newsletters. This is yet another puzzle piece that you need to put into your marketing campaign, okay? And that's what LinkedIn is. A lot of your customers out there, again, these are masters, PhDs, really smart folks, they will trust their friends, but they'll still look you up. So trust but verify, okay? I had a friend who was a colleague friend who worked with me. He's a data scientist, really smart guy. We worked in the trenches on projects for over a year. And I thought I knew him really well. And it came time to buy his house. And I remember we were meeting at a coffee shop in Palo Alto at 10 p.m. And he was with his wife, and he has a laptop, and he started asking me all these really tough questions, kind of like interview questions. So why should I use you as a realtor? Kind of. I said, whoa, hey, I thought we were, So I said, all right, I got to gear up for the interview. And so he's already asking me all these questions, and then he started typing answers, asked me a question, typed an answer, and then he says, well, we're in an online world. I know everything there is to know. Long story short, he's looked me up. He's looked at my website, he's probably read my blog, he checked my profile, he's looked at all of that. Because his job actually is data scientist. He aggregates data, right? And actually his expertise is scraping data. And so he already went and checked me out on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook probably, and my blog, just to see what I was about. He's done that all already, before we sat down. Okay. So the question is, how many customers are you losing before you even get to the table? Because they look you up and they either don't find enough or they aren't convinced that you're the right person for them, right? And unfortunately, everything's online now. Nobody's whipping out a newspaper to look for your ad. They're just going to Google you and see what the top 3 or 4 is, right, that comes up, or hit some of these sites. Jeff Weiner, CEO of LinkedIn, has a nice quote he used to always say, probably still does, trust is consistency over time. I'll probably put that with what my first broker taught me, which was if you're busy, you must be good. That's one he used to say. I like that one. If you're busy, you got to be good. If you're not busy, we have a big problem, right? And so, again, when you're on these networks and you're talking about real estate, you're involved in real estate, you're sharing the most important things, you're commenting about it, you seem busy or you seem like a domain expert, right? And that's kind of what we want to portray. We all know this, 90% of buyers looking at homes online, but as I mentioned, number one, they're gauging your experience. Why should I use this person as my realtor? I mean, what experience do they bring to the table? 2, they're trying to gauge your knowledge. What do you know more than I do that I can't Google myself? Right? How's my realtor going to help me? They're going to analyze your background, and that means how long you've been at certain firms is always a thing. Sometimes education is something they'll look at, certifications, etc. Okay. And I talked about if you're busy, you must be good. I mean, it's just one of those things. If everything's quiet, they're wondering, is this person even involved in real estate? Are they selling anything? Are they doing anything? If they're not doing anything, I don't know if I want to use them. Right. Trust factor. Again, trust. I mentioned that already, and I talked too much about that. But really, they want to know, what are you about? What do you stand for? We're in a new generation now, right? They're really trying to, everything's online. They're trying to figure you out. And that message should be very clear from your online marketing, okay? And then what is my overall plan? So this will be a component of your plan, but something to add to your repertoire. And it's a puzzle that comes together. So, I mean, don't think of your marketing plan as a little piecemeal, oh, okay, I want to be on LinkedIn. I mean, it has to be holistic. And I know there's a lot of sites. There are a lot of things going on, right? You got your website, you got your Facebook, you got your Twitter, you got your blog. There's a lot going on, but you sort of have to come up with that plan yourself. What is my marketing plan for me? Right. So what is LinkedIn? So Hilda doesn't even know this, but I put this slide up because I gave a talk at the Evergreen Marketing Group, and I thought I did a great job. I came in, and all that, and then one of the folks came up to me, and one of the really big agents for a very long time, apparently she asked her neighbor, what is LinkedIn again? After I was done. And so I want to address that right now and hit the nail on the head. What is LinkedIn? And the simplest way I can put it, it's LinkedIn is your Facebook, but targeted for business and business only. Okay, there's no mixing these worlds. When you get on LinkedIn, you put on your suit, you put on your tie, you dress your best, you look your best, you talk, you speak, you're professional, you are at your best. Okay, always on LinkedIn, best behavior. You leave, most of the time, you leave most of the politics off. You're just all about business. That's what LinkedIn's all about. But you're doing that network on LinkedIn. Okay, you're doing that network on LinkedIn. Now, I understand, well, let me tell you how most people use LinkedIn. Us realtors are a little bit different. They keep their social, personal, private lives on Facebook, and they keep their business lives on LinkedIn. Meaning they never connect with their bosses on Facebook, as an example, generally. You don't want your boss to know what you're doing last night. I mean, you get to work just fine on Monday morning, but who knows, you could have had a few drinks and your friend snaps a photo. You don't want your boss to see that. It's just how it is. People make judgments, right? So they always keep those separate, and they generally don't add coworkers either on their Facebook. Maybe you've become really good friends, maybe, but generally that is all reserved for LinkedIn. So that's how your customers are using LinkedIn. Okay, they're using it as a professional network, either classmates, professors, coworkers, etc. Okay, for business. Now, us realtors are a little strange because we're in the sales business and we do so much of that referral business. We're sort of in the middle. Okay, so I realized that as I realized, why is everyone trying to connect with me on Facebook? I said, I don't want to connect with my coworkers, but I get it because so much of our business is in the social network, right? In our personal spheres of influence. And so we have to play in both fields. I think realtors lean more to the Facebook side, obviously, because that's where you're on. Now, this isn't a Facebook class, but let me caution you on the Facebook side. A couple things. I've been doing social media sort of connecting and marketing for my business since Friendster. Was anybody on Friendster? No Friendster? Okay, that was the first social network. Then came MySpace, and now Facebook. Okay. And let me tell you, it works. But here's some caveats. Number one, your friends and your family don't want to hear about your business on Facebook. They really don't. And because they go there and they want to relax. Right? They go there, the tie comes off, the blazer comes off, they're in their PJs with sandals relaxing on Facebook. And they want to be entertained. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that you can't entertain them. Right? There's always funny ways to entertain them and still talk about real estate. But keep it down to a minimal on Facebook. You just want them to know that you're in the business, right? But do it in a way that isn't just broadcasting yourself. They don't care about just listed, even though I did that yesterday. But you spin it around as in, hey, friends and family, I got a brand new listing I want you guys to have first dibs on. Something like that. You spin it. Okay. You don't go, just listed, 888,000, 4 bed, 2 bed, 18. They don't care. I mean, but they do want to know about stuff so they can pass it on to their friends. They all want to be these funnels, right, of information. So you gotta twist it. You can post a funny picture. I was at a house and I saw this tub and I saw an outlet above the tub with no GFCI. I thought that was kind of funny. So I posted that up. Like, what's wrong with this picture? And there are all these people commenting, the builder, who built this house, or the city permitted this? And again, you started a conversation. It's sort of real estate related and it's entertaining, right? And that's great. That's Facebook, okay? But do it judiciously. You just want people to know you're in the business, but really you just want to be a human being on Facebook. Right? Just operate as you would. Share photos of your kids, your grandkids. Be a human being, because as far as you connect with your customers or your family and friends, they will know you as a human being, and when it comes to, they know you're a human being, a great person, that when they have real estate needs, they'll call you. That's all you need to do on Facebook, okay? And it's extremely effective. Now, let's go to the LinkedIn side. Now, this is all professional, okay? Obviously, you got to be a little bit careful on how we connect there, but everything there is strictly for business. You could talk about yourself all you want over there, because that's your business. Right? You have a listing, pop it on there. You have a great article, pop it on there. Janet Yellen's raising rates, pop it on there. Okay? You're giving a talk, put it on here. Okay? I did that today. But why LinkedIn? So now you know what LinkedIn is. Why LinkedIn? I was looking for the article, I couldn't find it, but there was an article posted, and I can't find it, but one of the folks on LinkedIn posted a blog with the exact same quote. If you're not on LinkedIn, you do not exist. So for those of you that aren't on LinkedIn, need to get on and establish your profile right away. The reason is everybody else is on there. When they do a search for you, if you're not there, guess what? They're going, I don't know, this person's even in the business. Because everyone's using this basically as their online resume, their profiles. Okay, so you need to be on there. And it's very scary. If you're not on here, you don't exist. So that's just level one thinking. We got to get you on there, okay? But let's talk about why other folks are on LinkedIn, especially your customers. So LinkedIn's company mission is to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and successful. And so if you put yourself in the shoes of your customers who are working every day, they have a career and they're trying to grow, they're there to try to find their next opportunities, usually, okay? And the reason why I keep my profile up to date with a lot of keywords, rich, and broadcasting what I do is that all the folks in this valley especially are getting job inquiries on LinkedIn. So it's a two-sided market. It's really interesting, right? So LinkedIn users bring in and post all their data and all their information about what they've done. And these companies pay the company to basically recruit these folks based on keywords. It's a win-win for everybody. I mean, who doesn't want another opportunity, right? We may not get this as much, a little bit different, but as far as a regular person, if I'm a engineer and I'm a Hadoop expert, which is big data backend, they're getting pings probably daily from companies trying to recruit them. Okay, and so that's why your customers are on there every day. Okay. Currently, there are 330 million members plus, a little more than that now, but on LinkedIn currently. The estimate is that there are 3.3 billion professionals total. So this company's got a long way to go. More importantly, there are 107 million members in the US. This market in the US is pretty much saturated for LinkedIn, which is good for you because pretty much most members in the United States are all going to be on LinkedIn. Most of the professionals, working professionals. Okay. They haven't done as well on the blue collar. That's something they're trying to do, but it's more the white collar workers that are on LinkedIn. Okay. But really important, pretty much saturated. So all of your customers are on here, guaranteed it. Anyone working, your folks or even your niece, nephews, etc., they're all probably going to be on LinkedIn, okay, if they're not already. I'm going to play a quick video just to give you an idea of what these guys are trying to do. Really quick, Reid Hoffman's the founder of LinkedIn, and Ben was his chief of staff and helped him write this book called The Startup Review. I don't think you have to read this book. I'll just tell you quickly what it's about. Reason being, it's really targeted for the corporate America audience. And it's a really good summary of why LinkedIn is what it is. So Reid's thought is that today, in this day and age, if you work in corporate, and traditionally, okay, if you worked in a company that's very hierarchical structure, there's a chain of command to follow. Your boss, you do a good job, your boss gives you the promotion, right? And then you keep doing a good job, work hard, you get that promotion, and then you move up the chain. Well, things have changed. It's become that everyone is basically their own brand, their own PR department now in most companies now. Things are flatter, and it's really about how well you can market yourself. And that's what LinkedIn is trying to do for people is like, hey, this is your platform. Tell people what you're about and build your brand, right? It's really you are your own business. And so if I look at all of us, and we don't usually think of ourselves this way, but we're all entrepreneurs, all of us, right? If you think about it, I know no one really talks about it that way, but we're running our own business, right? We are our own entrepreneurs. So we're paving the way, for this way ahead of this game. And so we need to build our own brand. We're everything. We are PR, we're marketing, we're business development, right? We're customer service. We're everything, right? Unless you have a team, you can break this up a little bit. But let me play this video just to give you an idea of what folks are targeting here.
What happened? Were companies supposed to guarantee jobs for life? Was the government supposed to rescue everyone? Were universities supposed to grant degrees that promised unlimited opportunity? The world has changed. There's plenty of blame to go around, but the solution is within you. All humans were born entrepreneurs. In the caves, we were all self-employed, finding food, feeding ourselves. That's how human history began. And that's the entrepreneurial spirit we must rediscover. We have it within ourselves to take control of our career and build the future we want. And we do this by looking at the lessons of today's entrepreneurs and applying them to our lives. How we adapt, how we develop a competitive edge, how we take smart risks, how we use our networks, You see, today's challenges actually present enormous opportunity. You were made to survive almost anything. You can invent yourself and invent the future. The startup is you.
It's an interesting message. I mean, and again, for us, we're ahead of the game because we are entrepreneurs already. But for a lot of folks in corporate America, they're starting to get a shift in mindset. And really, it's about how much they can build their brand, what they can do to really make their name be known within a company. Right? And in the same way, we're doing the same way for ourselves. So keep that in mind. But at least from our perspective, we're already entrepreneurs, so this is great. We're ahead of the game. So let me talk about first things first, your identity. So I talked a little bit about the resume being online, but that's really what it is your resume. Got to get on LinkedIn, got to have your profile up and running, ready and updated, okay? Business card as well, because your contact information is there. I doubt the business card's going away in our business, but a lot of information still can be stored there, so anybody could reach you anytime, okay? Especially if you're a realtor. I talked about contacts. I'll talk about it a little bit more, but you want to get all your contacts in here as well. And this is a use case that folks don't realize is obviously we're all mobile now. A lot of times in business, I was in Hong Kong traveling for business, and I remember getting to a hotel a little bit early with my business development director, and he was saying, oh, we're going to meet with this gentleman from this venture capital firm. And then, of course, I whipped out my phone and I looked him up and started to see if I can get any information as much as I can learn about him before we met him. So well, before I go there, everyone raise your right hand. I solemnly swear that I will use this information for good and not for evil. Okay, I'm gonna teach you some secrets here. Now, I mean, we're all in sales pretty much, and we know how this works, but let me just give you a crash course as well. When you meet somebody new, especially brand new, like a cold lead, right? It's extremely difficult to get that rapport started quickly, right? And so anything you could find in common is going to help that conversation, break the ice, so to speak. That's why a lot of people talk about sports or whatever else is news or anything that could be interesting to try to break that ice. Now, if you did your homework up front, you might be able to find out things that you didn't know. It's a very small world, and you will know people in common, number one. I'll tell you how small the world is. Lisa, was it? I'm mentoring the buying agent on your Abbott property. We need to talk after this. But that's how small the world is. Okay, that's how small the world is. So likely you know somebody that knows this person. And if the connection's strong enough, you can even drop the name. Hey, I noticed on LinkedIn, because everyone puts this on here, it's public information. I mean, if you're connected and there's a second degree, everyone knows that the LinkedIn information you put out is going to be viewable by everyone. Whereas Facebook, it feels a little stockish. Right, but on LinkedIn, it's not. Everyone knows that they're out there because they're on there for business. So it's okay to say, hey, I know Marissa, right? And then you get that conversation. Oh yeah, she's an old friend of mine. And then the conversation starts. There was a house that I won in Mountain View, multiple offers again, and I noticed that the owners both went to Berkeley. And I still didn't feel comfortable using that information. It was just something that I just put in the back of my mind. I thought it'd be a little creepy, show up with like a little Oski doll or something like that. So I kept it in my back pocket, but after I presented the offer to the agent, I chatted and I said, hey, I noticed there was some Berkeley paraphernalia in the house. Did your clients happen to go to Berkeley? And she said, yeah, they did. They met in college. She goes, oh, by the way, I'm also a Cal Bear. I said, oh, really? Now that part I missed. And guess who won the house? Well, again, it's the little things, right? When every offer looks the same, pretty much, how do you stand out, right? Hopefully you know people in common. There's a house a few months ago I went in, and this was 17 offers. And again, it's all about relationships. I went into that office, and that's an office I've done business with probably 4 or 5 other agents before. So what did? I dropped the names. I say, hey, ask X, Y, Z, all these folks how I work. Again, guess who wins the house, right? But again, it's all about this relationship. If you have those in common, you need to leverage them, right? You got to leverage them. Of course, I mentioned schools. Alma maters are a big deal, right? I mean, people are super loyal to their school. Research shows that people are more loyal to their schools than they are to their companies. Right? It makes sense, right? And so if you happen to go to the same school, no matter what year it was, there's just some kind of bond, like, oh, wow, we're fellow alumni. This is cool, right? And of course, companies. Sometimes you may have overlapped at another company, or maybe your husband or wife works at that company. Again, you never know. Searching for commonality. And people are doing this on the fly. It takes a few seconds before you meet with somebody. and you just look them up and just see, and they're looking you up too, believe it or not. It's a two-way street. So your profile, obviously it summarizes this header. You can change to whatever you want. Try to make it something catchy. This URL here, I'll talk about it in a bit, but you can customize this. A lot of people don't know that. You can make it your own, create a unique URL. A lot of people will put it in their signatures on the bottom because people will click on it and look at their profile. Okay. Your summary is the most second, other than the picture. I mean, we're all in real estate, so we should always have a photo, yeah? So as far as the photo is concerned, always have a photo because, I mean, frankly, I meet so many people, you send me an invite, I just don't remember, but you put a face to it, I go, oh yeah, I saw him, I met him or her at another spot. But got to have the photo, otherwise it doesn't feel as personal, okay? And have a good photo. Please don't have some folks look extremely questionable, right? I mean, do not have questionable photos, right? It has to be a super professional. It doesn't have to be super professional, but at least not too casual, okay? I've seen people with cats or, with their kids, say that for Facebook. I mean, this is your professional profile. Now the summary, don't make it boring. Realtor, 15-year-old realtor, 15 business veteran, 15 years, blah, blah, blah. Give them something more. I mean, tell them about your passions. Tell them what gets you up in the morning, right? Give them something better than that. I mean, think about, put your mission statement here, right? Put your vision here for yourself. Put your big one thing, is what the Keller Williams thing says. What is your big one thing? Put that in your summary and try to inspire folks, right? Inspire yourself, but inspire your customers too when they log on and see you. Of course, experience, talk about what you've done, where you've worked. They're going to go through and see all the brokerages you've worked for. They're going to look at where you've worked before. And LinkedIn does a great job of just populating the logos for you already. So it makes it look really rich and beautiful. Everyone's more visual nowadays. Everyone's more visual. Okay, so they've already done that for you. If you happen to have recommendations, even better. Now, you may or may not, but if you do, I don't know, there's not really a review site for agents, right? Yes.
Does Reach 150 upload it? Does Reach 150 upload it to LinkedIn?
I don't think so. No, I don't think there's that one that's uploaded. Yeah, this one's meant for, in the old days, you used to write your letter, right? It's meant for that. You write a recommendation, and then it just posts it and it shows up on your profile. So you can always encourage your customers to write reviews about you here as well. I mean, it just adds to your profile and your brand. Again, fill it out, right? Make sure it's more than a few lines. It doesn't have to be too long, but give them a good idea of what you do. Okay. Education's always good. I know this may not be a strength. If it's not a strength of yours, you don't need to put anything here. But if it is a strength of yours, put it here. Okay. If you don't necessarily have to do university, you can do certifications as well. And we know there are a ton of certifications in our business you can put on here, right? And so you can highlight those as well. You can highlight other things. Now, before I go there, there's people also want to know, I mentioned they want to know what you're all about, not just your business, right? If there are causes that you care about, so organizations that you support, your interests. One of the things when I used to interview at all the tech companies, they always ask me, what do you do outside of work? So I thought it was a very peculiar question. But they want to know that you just don't sit there and work all day, that you actually are a little bit well-rounded, that you have other hobbies and interests. And they find that interesting because it helps you be more creative in your job. So I always put interests, some other things that I like. It's way on the bottom usually. But things, different organizations. Now we're all part of CAR, National Association of Realtors, Santa Clara County, et cetera. You can put it all on here. I need to update that. Languages. Anyone speak a second language in here? What language? Polish. Russian? Malay? Spanish. Spanish. Okay. Highlight that here. It's important that some folks are looking for people that speak certain languages, right? Highlight that. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but there is a language set you can create your profile in a different language. So Russian's here, Polish is here, Espanol is definitely here. Did I miss a language? So you can actually create your if your target market are folks that speak certain languages for certain countries, it behooves you to have a profile in that language. So let me show you how to do that. So this is my Chinese profile. It's one of the things I worked on before I left. So I have a profile in Chinese as an example. Chinese name, Chinese title. Now when you go to when you go to your profile, edit your profile. Those of you that want to try it now, but everything is inline editable now. So everything's really easy. You just click and then you can go down. But when you're here, there's a little click button. You click, and then you go create profile in another language. And then it just walks you through it. Okay. I think over probably 2/3 of the members are now from out of this United States country. So it's an international company now. So more folks may be looking you up from there. And if you're talking about leads, they're going to be on here. Maybe they want to buy real estate over here, and you're the only Polish profile that's in the U.S. You might be the one, right? Never know. So language settings. Some of you that may not be as proficient or in English per se, you're more comfortable with your native language. And Malay is on here too, by the way. You can change your language, and here are all the different languages. I think Malay is. I thought Malay was. Is Malay on here? On the other page. I don't know if it is. But anyways, these are a language you can change and actually just read LinkedIn in that language if you like. Okay, let's talk about your network. So we all know that relationships are key. And I think for our business, even more important than most, right? And so building that network is really important. I would encourage you to do quality over quantity. Okay, one of my favorite burgers, In-N-Out. But don't go and add thousands of people to your profile. One, it's not the right way to do it. You really want to add people that you know, you worked with, or maybe at least met once or a few times. I mean, some people go and add everybody, and what happens is your feed gets really messy, number one, and you can't really keep in touch with people the right way because there's so much noise, so much garbage, okay, that you can't filter through it. You go, oh, Helen, I don't really know that many people. First off, you need to connect with your customers, number one. If you get nothing out of my talk today, connect with your customers. First things first, and I know you have those. Family and friends, nieces and nephews, kids. It's okay to connect. Your kids won't mind connecting with you on LinkedIn. They do mind connecting with you on Facebook, but they don't mind connecting with you on LinkedIn because usually mom and dad have a lot of connections to help me get my next job. Okay. They don't really mind that much. Professors and classmates. This is interesting. I mean, if you want to go back and connect with your old classmates and professors, that's always a good way to get started. I put a star here with the current and past coworkers. Most folks in the industry, in different industries, will connect with their coworkers. Makes sense. For us, this is a little bit tricky. I'm not saying you don't connect with your coworkers or fellow realtors, but right now this is all we do, which is designed. The system's designed to do this. That's why you're doing it. But I hate to say it, I mean, in a way you are connecting with your competition, so to speak. You may be liking and commenting on your competition's posts where your customers are going, well, this guy knows, oh, I like comment. If you like his stuff so much, why don't I just go with him? Right? So, I mean, you just got to be careful with that. I'm not saying don't connect with each other. Right now, this is what we are doing. Again, the system's designed that way. So I'm not saying don't do it, but just be cautious and be aware of what you're doing, okay? Because at the end of the day, you want your customers to see you. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being connected with folks, but just be careful what you're clicking. And of course, business partners, your lenders, your title companies, your inspectors maybe, if they're on there, are folks you can connect. Again, then you start rounding your network, right? And the whole goal is this degrees of separation. You're going to reach more people, the people that you know, and their second degrees may find you because you're connected with them, okay? The system helps you with this. You've probably seen this in Facebook. It's called People You May Know. And this engine will do it for you, and they're really good at it. And so they'll basically find folks that you don't even remember from years ago and say, whoa, this guy. And then they'll say, hey, you may know this person. I don't know how the algorithm works, but it's darn good, right? It's darn good. And so you'll find people that you can spend a whole day in here, and it'll just do it for you. You just click, 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 and connect with folks that you have lost touch with over time. And I talked about the common realtor use case. This is one that I fell into in the beginning. A lot of realtors from the nation would connect with me and say, hey, I'm in Indianapolis, and I would love to add you to my referral network. And first of all, I don't sell that many houses in Indianapolis, right? And then secondly, I mean, I don't really even know who you are. So if it really came, would I refer you? I don't know, right? I'm not sure, right? These are my clients. I don't know you. I probably would ask for a referral more than I would do that, right? I may call a team leader in that or a broker in that area and say, who's your best guy? But I wouldn't just, So useless to have them in my connection. So I actually went through and deleted a lot of this because it just didn't make any sense. But this is what it is because the system is telling you, hey, connect with fellow realtors, right? And they're trying to use it as a referral. But I think this is a really weak use case. I wouldn't bother with it. Yes?
When you delete somebody, are they aware of it?
No.
Okay.
No activity broadcast or anything. It's probably not the most popular thing. Yeah. No, they won't. But again, if you get nothing out of today, Alan, your presentation was terrible, connect with your clients. Upload them all into your system, okay? And then I'm going to talk about how you stay top of mind. So, but how do you build your database? When you click the Connections tab, LinkedIn already helps you do all this stuff. There's LinkedIn. You can import your Gmail contacts right here. You can import your Yahoo contacts. You can import your Outlook contacts, your iPhone address book. You can sync your Facebook contacts. I mean, it does it all for you. It's not that hard. And it just kind of one click, boom, boom, and then they just do it for you. Right here. you click
So
import.
if you import, it automatically sends an invite to everyone that you imported?
I think it might. I think you might have an option to uncheck or whatever you want to do. But yeah, I believe so. Yeah, so you have to double check. I think by default it may check everybody, so just be careful. That's one complaint I've heard from customer service that, oh my gosh, it blasted all these people like my ex-girlfriend and I didn't want that. Well, because it probably defaulted the check. So just be careful. Hey, make sure you go through the list, uncheck it.
There's a way to import and then the invite goes out automatically.
So think about that. Pretty much, I think this covers most of the sources of your data, I would imagine, of your folks. The other one is clicking connections and keep in touch. Again, who doesn't like a congratulations when they get promoted? Who doesn't like to be wished happy birthday? Seriously, I mean, we all love it, right? I mean, we all pretend we don't, but we do. And again, they're really helping you keep in touch with folks already, kind of giving you an avenue, an excuse to go talk to the folks, a reason to touch base, say hi, to catch up. In these connections, keep in touch. Okay, they already have it all for you in there. And
Share something really quickly.
please.
I just got three congratulations on being somewhere 4 years. I'm like, where have I been 4 years? And I volunteer somewhere. And so I went and looked it up on LinkedIn. Where have I been
Where have I
4
been?
years? and so I then sent them a thank you. I thought that was really sweet. You know, it was thanks for the reminder, kind
Yes.
of. So you're right.
The system's doing it for you.
Right.
It's doing it for you. It's tracking your time, and when you hit a milestone, it's telling other people to congratulate you, and they're helping them engage with you. You don't need to do anything. You forgot, right? And how great is that? You're doing something great that you love and you're passionate about. People see you, and while they're in there, they're looking. Oh, I wonder what she's up to. Oh, she's a realtor. And imagine, I mean, I put a post yesterday in my just listed property, and one person from my MBA class sent me a message. Said, "Hey, I'm looking for investments. Let's meet." Oh, great, appointment set up. Right. So the little things you do. Again, people are ready at different times, so you have to kind of be engaged. But that's great. It's a great example.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It supported what you were saying.
It's excellent. When I taught this class at the Evergreen Group, this person logged into LinkedIn, and she hasn't logged in a long time. She told me, "Oh, there's a lead waiting for me there." Because people are trying to contact you in many ways now. Unfortunately, it's not just email anymore, right? They're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Twitter, all these messaging apps, they're texting, they're on, if you're from China, you're on WeChat, if you live in Taiwan, you're on Line, you're using WhatsApp, if you're in Hong Kong, Singapore, it's a nightmare. But unfortunately, hey, people are trying to reach you. I mean, what are you going to do? There's no aggregated source right now. So, and this is one of them. Networking. So this is a word that I absolutely just despised when I was in school. They used to say, oh, we have a networking event. So I go to the networking events, 50 to 100 people. I bring my cards, we shuffle it around, and I grab their cards and I shove it in my desk and I never look at them again. Right. And sometimes lead generation feels like that to me too. I don't know if you feel the same way. But my argument for using LinkedIn or Facebook or some of these social media sites, you're really keeping in touch with personal connections, people that you know, that like you, everyone, it's a great relationship. You're just nurturing that relationship. And you get so much more return when they refer you to somebody or when they're ready to buy a house, right? They're super loyal, right? Referrals are generally very loyal. They're not going to run off with a dual agent, generally. Happens, but but again, because of that relationship with you, they feel like they know you, they like you, they even admire you, that this can be a really strong relationship. So if you spend your time here, a little bit every day, I think you'll see fruits. Because that's what I've been doing for 11 years, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing after that. I was talking about direct communication. Nothing beats direct communication. Sure, you can like stuff and comment. Oh, by the way, liking is great, but commenting is better. Have you noticed people start commenting? Because they're just want to go in and do a quick like now, right? It's so much easier. If you comment, that person will take time to look. When you're all in your feeds, don't you click your notification and see who's made a comment? The likes aren't as strong, right? Okay, 10 people like this, so what? Add a comment, then they look, and then you come top of mind again. And in LinkedIn, it shows your title too. Realtor, Coldwell Banker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right, again, you're staying top of mind. You took the time to comment on my posts. Right, I'm going to take a moment to look at you and see what you're up to as well. But of course, nothing beats direct communication. right? I mean, we got to, one-on-one communication is still the best. Face-to-face, ideal still, okay? Phone, a dying art. I call my mom. She complains I don't call her, and she texts me back. I said, seriously? Seriously, Mom? With your feature phone, you're texting me back? But we're moving away from the phone even. But again, nothing beats that conversation though, right? The face-to-face, the phone, texting is next. But of course, direct communication is still better than some of the liking, commenting we do. So for example, let's say I haven't talked to Joe in a while. I send him a message. Hey, it's been a long time. Let me know if you're free for lunch. And I know that LinkedIn's keeping all his contact up to date. I know he's in there because we're all using LinkedIn. And boom, we get in touch and we grab lunch. Simple as that, right? Notifications, you're all used to this format, so this little flag tells you what everyone's doing. This tells you all the people that have congratulated this person on their job, right? There's another work anniversary here. This person published something, so you can read that. These are the folks that looked at your profile. Lots to engage. You can just click there, go through a little bit every day, and it'll probably keep you busy for a while. Engage. All right, so we got all the level 1 stuff out of the way. Now we're going to go advanced. So in LinkedIn, there's something called groups. And if you go click interests, there's a groups, and you can join different groups. Now, different groups are more exciting than others. I know SCORE has a pretty active group, which is pretty cool. But I'll just use this as an example. This is an entrepreneurial group, which is pretty active. There are other groups, such as there might be some realtor groups. There might be alumni groups for sure. Sometimes company groups you can join. Groups, it just depends. Some groups are very active and some are not. So decide if it's worth engaging or not. But you can always join a group, okay? And it adds a badge on your profile that you are part of this group, okay? Next thing is something called Pulse. If you click interests and Pulse, this is a aggregated feed of a mixture of news and then user-created content, as well as influencers. So LinkedIn has, first let's start with the influencers. These are brand name people that sign up with LinkedIn, and they're tagged with influencer tag because they're super celebrities basically that are putting out things. Richard Branson's very active, for example. Now this, you can read content, contribute, like, share content, okay? So let's say you read a great article about real estate that you want to reshare. You just click and just share it on, and it shows up on your feed. Everyone sees something good, and they might read it, they might like it, they might comment on it. This is the easiest way to get engagement. Read an article, share it. You can do that in LinkedIn or anywhere else on the web now. Pretty much everywhere that you read has a LinkedIn share button now. Okay, so if you're reading a great article, which you probably are, especially real estate related, just takes a few seconds to share it. So let's say you read an article, you click the LinkedIn share button, and you can share it. Now we talked about content, remember? Certain things you could share to Facebook if it's interesting and catchy, right? But be judicious about what you do there. Twitter, you can blast anything you want. Just go on. Oh, be careful. I mean, people don't care what you had for breakfast. But, I mean, real estate related, right? You should create a Twitter channel and just blast away. For me, Twitter is good because it shows people that I'm busy. That's the one thing I like. And of course, you can meet people. It's funny, yesterday I posted a just listed, and then Alan Wong from ABC News, Channel 7, the other Alan Wong, he sent me a tweet, and he said, it would be really confusing if I bought a house from you. So I commented back, I said, I'll put my middle initial on the contract. How about that? And he smiled and favored it. It's kind of cool. You get some light engagement there. But really, it's just, you're just broadcasting. People look you up and go, wow, this guy's really busy. I can see some good articles. I'm seeing some listings. Oh, he must be good. Right? That's what I'm trying to get with Twitter. Of course, you try to build what relationships you can and get some followers, but it's also good. So on the LinkedIn side, I mentioned that. So before I go there, I thought it's funny. I was looking for an article just for this button. And there's an article about Gen Y in Entrepreneur Magazine, and I think just to share this with you. Millennials value authenticity more highly than the content itself when consuming news, according to surveys. Nearly all millennials, they are relying on new ways to consume media. 33% select blogs as their top media source. Fewer than 3% rank television. Wow. So these millennials are onto the traditional media. Okay, I mean they're all used to those ads. They're used to the online ads. They're used to the TV ads, but they want to find somebody authentic. So kind of what you mentioned with your newsletter, that's authentic, right? I've got no bigger bang for my buck than my quarterly blog. I'll tell you that.
You do quarterly blog.
I do quarterly.
So every 3 months.
Every 3 months I'll write something and I'll have like a year-end summary or something. It's too hard to do every month.
It is.
It is, yeah.
Doing it every month, it's very hard.
It is hard, yeah. I mean, I think every 3 months is okay. Yeah, that's why. It's just time, right? It takes time to write good content. But that's something interesting for you. And that's where LinkedIn comes in. Well, right here, you click share, and immediately you just cut and paste the title and the article, and you can put a few comments if you want, puts a thumbnail of the article, share. Done. Okay, done. You shared a good piece of content related to your business industry without bragging about yourself. Right? You're being a source of information, which is what the millennials are looking for, a source of information. Click share. Notice this. In my link here, there's a Twitter, public and Twitter. So everyone can see it, and there's a Twitter link. Ooh, what's that? Before I go there, I'll talk about the next slide, but also lastly, in your status update, it says right here, I'm looking forward to teaching a course on leveraging LinkedIn for realtors. Share. Again, wow, you're giving a talk. That's pretty cool. A lot of you either teach classes or teach or mentor somebody. It's exciting. Talk about it. Talk yourself up a little bit. It's okay to do that on LinkedIn. Twitter Sync. A lot of people don't know this feature. Did you know you can link your LinkedIn status updates to your Twitter account? How many people have it linked? Hilda does, of course. So let me show you how to do that. Click your photo. Privacy and settings. And look for this manage your Twitter settings. Okay, and it says right here, I have one already, but add Twitter account. You'll bind them together, and it's a one-way sync from LinkedIn to Twitter, not the other way anymore. Okay, the other way was too noisy because too much junk from Twitter comes in LinkedIn. So it's going the other way, which is fine. So for those of you that may be paying for services to do this, you don't need to anymore because you don't want to post on Facebook all day anyways. So LinkedIn, Twitter, one time, done. Don't have to do it twice. Okay?
Definitely not the other way around.
No, and actually when that was going on, some of the stuff coming to LinkedIn were like, ooh, why are you posting that? But they weren't, it was Twitter, right? They were tweeting, oh, I had this for breakfast. Nobody cared on LinkedIn. It's like, why do I have this junk? So yeah, when that went away, actually the feed cleaned up a lot on LinkedIn, cleaned up a lot. All right, let's talk about thought leadership. Now I talked to you about, all right, we're gonna build your profile, you're connecting with people, you know how to share articles and content. Now let's be a thought leader. For those of you, how many people like to write? Any writers in the room? Okay, a few. Okay. And if not, you can always find ways to get good content and perhaps get some content. But LinkedIn is moving to a platform of thought leadership where everyone can write their own blogs. So if you want to move your newsletter here, that's something you could do. But be careful. I don't put my blog on LinkedIn because this is meant for general topics that everyone would be interested in. Right, so you could, change the title. I mean, a lot of the articles that come are the top 5 traits of a successful entrepreneur, something like that, or top 5 traits of a successful realtor. It's kind of these inspirational blogs. Not to say you can't do it, but make it so that a general audience might be interested.
How do you get to that site?
I will get to that in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You're way ahead of me. So, for example, I've written a few, and the latest being this one I wrote about realtors, what we need to do to add value or become extinct in another 10 years. This is when the Zillow and Trulia merger happened, or still happening, but when they talked about it. And more, okay, so we don't own the search process, that's fine. There's so many other things that we need to do to keep adding value in the process, right? So this article, if you want to go ahead, look me up and read about it. But anyways, people will read, you can see how many people read it, comment, like, and you can, again, get some engagement. But really, it shows up on your profile, more importantly. And they go, oh, wow, it's got a post. That's number one, that is always with you. What you write, your content is always with you, okay? Secondly, every time you do this, it shows up on the notifications of all your connections. It says, so-and-so has written a blog post. Oh, they click, they read, okay? But again, make the content generic. It's something that everyone can consume, okay? That's why I don't put my quarterly updates on there. It's just too market specific. I don't think enough people care. How? So you asked about the how. In your status update box here, there's a little pencil. I don't know if you have that on the tablet though, but
It's okay.
yeah. You see that little pencil here? You click it and then you'll be led into the blog creation flow. It's not that bad. It's really simple, like three fields to fill out. It's the content that's hard, right? It's the content that's hard. You want to be inspirational. You want to talk about something you're very passionate about. Something that people want to read. Even the top 5 traits of an entrepreneur are getting kind of boring on LinkedIn now. So that's why I'm trying to mix up my titles a little bit too. But Again, it's more, well, again, for your profile, and then of course, just kind of, again, you're just building your brand, right? Multimedia. How many people, we talked, Hilda talked about video. How many people have some sort of video? No? There's a reason why we're filming this session today. I mean, these things all help build sort of who you are. So if you hit my site on LinkedIn, there's the House Hunter episode I was on, and then my recent 10-tool real estate agent, which goes to the blog that I was talking about. But try to get video. I mean, I don't know. They're all different kinds. If you're a teacher type, get some presentations up. If you have a property, why not film yourself kind of going through the property, right? Video is the most powerful form of media right now. I mean, it just is. Everyone's consuming it, right? You're spending time on YouTube all day probably. So try to get some good marketing material for yourself. And again, shows up right under your summary video. It's great to read about you, but if I can hear from you, even better. Maybe teach a class or teach something. I mean, whatever. Come up with some content, put it on YouTube, and then link it here, okay? Or upload it. Try to do that. Otherwise, you can upload presentations here, just the PowerPoint. You can upload photos. You can upload PDFs of something you created. Maybe some of your marketing material. I don't know. Whatever that is, you can upload it into LinkedIn and make it a part of your profile. Okay? Whatever you want to showcase. Okay. How do you do that? Oh, you didn't ask. In the status update again, there's this little paperclip here. Attach file. You know this main area where you just write about yourself. Attach file. And I looked at the files supported. There are a ton of them. So pretty much I think everything you guys are doing is going to be there.
So we could attach a PDF there.
Oh, yeah, actually, sorry, 1 second. This is a one-time post. So you post it, it goes away. Okay, when your feed, when it goes into people's feed. So this is for a one-time post. Now, if you wanted to permanently be part of your profile, then, hold on a second. So any questions on this? So this is one time. You post it, and then as the feed gets older, it goes away.
Goes into the algorithm.
Yeah, it goes into the ether. But if you wanted to perpetuate, again, remember you edit your profile, right? Profile edit. If you hover here on the top right by the summary, this little box comes up here. You see this little icon, this little arrow icon? You click it, and then it allows you to upload a file. It's a little strange to find, but once you're in your profile, hover around kind of where the summary is, and then you'll see this little square, rectangular arrow pointing. You click the upload file, and then you can bring in pretty much any media you can imagine.
And then it's just a link.
Go ahead.
On your profile.
And then it shows up on your profile all the time. Like these videos, I uploaded.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're perpetually on your profile. No, I don't. Okay, any questions up to this point on some of the features? Is this helpful?
PDFs work there, right?
PDFs work. Oh, there's so many formats. It's amazing. Yeah. Any questions to this point? Yeah, exactly. Again, talk about showcasing yourself, right? I mean, put your virtual tours up. Put your marketing material up. I mean, whatever you care to share, right? Your staging that you've done, put it up. And one thing I missed, apologize, on the profile to Hilda's point, is the endorsements. So whether or not you know it or not, or you ask or not, people are endorsing you for different skills. You probably noticed that, right? LinkedIn makes it really easy to do that. If they look at your profile, they highlight some of your top skills, and a person could click endorse all, and then boom, they're endorsing you. This is overall a good thing because they're all endorsing you for something that you're good at, right? And so you should welcome these as they come along. So you might see that as well. So, and of course, I mentioned the recommendations. And these are more advanced features. I'm not sure if it's going to be fully valuable, but a lot of people ask me this question, Alan, should I pay or not, okay, to upgrade my service? There are a couple of services that might be interesting. One is the LinkedIn Premium, and one is the Sales Solutions. I'm not sure you fully need this, frankly. I'll just tell you some of the things. Right now, who view your profile is limited. Like if people look at you, you're not going to see everyone that's seen you. If you upgrade, then you start seeing more. At least people that are not anonymous. You pretty much see everyone that's looked at your profile. Okay, kind of interesting. You get the full profiles of pretty much anybody, not just second degree. So let's say I'm connected to you and you're connected to Lisa, right? Then I can see her, but I can't see her connection over here because it's off my grid. But if I pay, obviously, then I can see pretty much anybody in the network. They're full profiles, okay? Because sometimes it might be limited if they're out of my reach, okay? Messages, right now I can't message anyone directly if they're not connected to me. But if I wanted to message someone who's a second or third degree connection, I could do that up to a certain amount. Let's see, search as well. I can search for more people, Right, that's another feature there. So again, I'm not sure if this really fits, if it's really necessary. You decide just for yourself. The other cost, I believe it's about $36 a month if I ran it right. If you pay, annually, I think. And then there's this new product called Sales Solutions, which is kind of interesting, but maybe not a huge fit for us. But you can save leads. So if you have leads, they're trying to use it as a little bit of a CRM, where you can save leads, again, increase messaging, network access, who's viewed your profile, premium profile. You get a little tag that says you're a premium member, etc. So again, I'm not sure these two products, you have to make your own decision if you start using LinkedIn a lot, you realize you're hitting walls when you're trying to reach people. Because right now, if I wanted to talk to you, you're a third degree from me, I have to ask him for introduction. Or if you're a third degree from me, or second degree, I have to ask you for introduction. So that's how it works right now, without paying. All right, and then the other one is advertising. If you're interested in this, not a lot of people know about the advertising on LinkedIn, so that might be an advantage for you if you're interested in that. Obviously, you see the text advertising here. There's actual ads here. And some people actually pay for content to show up in the feed as well, if you want to do that. And of course, there's other advertising all around. I'm going to close by saying this, and I think you all know this already, but really, again, technology aside, it's all about the relationships. And LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, it's just made it easier for us to keep in touch with people. Right? I mean, it's your database in any of these systems has made it super easy. You spend 1 or 2 hours a day just sitting at your desk, actually, and you're just liking and commenting, and then you're engaging with people. Right? This is how we do social networking these days, right? And so it's really powerful. You can call that your lead generation time. And it's actually more fun than sometimes than doing the flyer, the door knocking, the cold calling, right? This is definitely probably higher results, frankly, right? But again, I want to challenge you, provide good, solid content. Either share content, create content, be a thought leader as to people so that when they have real estate needs, not only do they remember you, but they view you in that light. If I ever have a real estate question, this is my realtor because I see how involved they are or how much they're doing. They're going to be my realtor when my time comes. Or when I'm around the water cooler and with my coworkers or at the lunch table, that someone wants to buy real estate, that your name pops up. Right? I mean, that's really the goal with us. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Thanks.
Thank you.